Is that how baseball goes? Oswald Peraza now hits, in hindsight, the game-winning homer. A Ben Rice lefty-on-lefty bomb, a stolen base from Austin Wells. 7 full, predictably. We did say that Carlos Rodon had to do this, right?
Yes.
You use your closer in a situation where Boone probably didn't have to use Weaver yesterday. Use him basically 2 of 3 days, 3 of 3 days. He wasn't going to pitch today. And before this outing, Jake, we said Carlos Rodon has to give us length. He has to obviously he has to prevent runs.
Of course.
But this cannot be a labored start where you're trying to figure it out in the 3rd or 4th inning. It has to be no nonsense. Get on the mound, get outs. He did exactly that. 7 full, 5 hits, shutout. Carlos Rodon, he was predictably great. So he delivered. Lots to discuss. But if you're just joining us, please be sure to like this video and subscribe, hitting the bell to be notified when we go live. And for those of you who are new here, we go live after every game. But I'm not going to waste any time here. We got to get to what's going on at third base with Peraza, because some people in our comments are saying no already. And there are other people that are hoping that the bat does come around. I am one of those people that I don't have high expectations for him at third base. I'm just under the impression that he's sort of this Band-Aid that we're peeling over there. But if the bat comes alive, we're getting a pretty good player. And obviously the glove is there. Paul Goldschmidt did save him from a throwing error today. Nice play over there from Goldie. But, Jake, what do you think about the ceiling, where this could be for him? Do you think there's any opportunity here that he could win this position?
I definitely do, and that goes back to what I was saying about the exit velocity, because he does hit the ball really hard. It was 111 off the bat. I think he's got a really good swing. I just think you saw that little bit after Cabrera got hurt where there was a comfortability, and I think he lost that pretty quickly. So he needs to get going. Like, he needs to understand that we don't have time for you to get comfortable, because I'm rooting for him. I want him to be a Yankee. I don't want him to be sent away at the deadline. But here's the thing. I was thinking about this. The word usage that has been thrown out there. Right-handed bat in the infield. And you look around the league, that's what the Yankees have been looking for. You look around the league and, like, who the hell are they going to trade for? Like, really? You know who I think that they actually could trade for? Moncada. That's like, and he's not even a good fielder. My point being, there's not a lot of options when you're going to filter it down to the righty. If you go lefty, I mean, I'm not too fond of McMahon and Lau, but those would be guys. They're lefties. They'll probably be available. Lau's available every year. I just don't know at this point if anybody wants him.
Essentially,
But
you're having to get picky. If a guy has to be on a team that's not on a contender, that team has to be willing to get rid of the player. They have to have somewhat of control, usually. And
absolutely.
Now suddenly they have to be right-handed. And then I can tell you this right now. If we did go trade for whoever the guy is, it's not going to be Moncada. But whoever that person is, you may look up and say, oh, I don't like his defense. I like Peraza's defense better. Well, yeah. That's the catch. The catch is no matter really who you bring in via trade, there's going to be a flaw somewhere, right? Jazz Chisholm plays really good defense, usually at third base. He can also do it at second, even better. But highly inconsistent, also cannot stay on the field consistently. So, can Peraza stay there? The only way we're going to find out is if Aaron Boone finds a way in the midst of this winning streak. I believe, Jake, you texted me and said the Yankees have won 8 series in a row. That's great.
Yeah.
Boone has to figure out, we always want to go with the hot hand. Always. If somebody's hot and they're at second base, let them play second base. Ben Rice, he had a homer today off a lefty. Kikuchi's pitching tomorrow, my favorite arm in the game for whatever reason.
You called him
He's pitching tomorrow.
Last year.
I called him Kabuti
and
last
then he
year.
Destroyed.
Yeah, he scared me away from the nickname. I'm done with it. But if Ben Rice shows you, I'm giving you output regardless of the handedness of the arm, you should play me, right? So having said all this, what if Peraza isn't hitting for a couple of days? Well, Aaron Boone has a tough decision. Do I try and develop the bat here and see what we have? Or am I going to just temper expectations and essentially make the assumption now he's not going to fill in these shoes long term? And I don't mean 3 or 4 years from now. What I mean is, can he play third base after the All-Star break? Can he play third base for an extended period of time? And as of now, what he's done with the bat for the season, he has played a decent bit here, Jake. But by no means has he earned a position. The glove is doing everything we need. Everything we need it to do. The arm, everything looks great. He looks comfortable. But we need to see some consistency offensively, and I'm rooting for the guy. I really am, because this is his opportunity.
Yeah, I think really when it comes down to Peraza, he's had some bad luck. He has an expected batting average of 217. That's a lot better than 165. But
yeah,
at the same time, we need to see results. And so today, the home run, that's a good step in the right direction. That's a career high for him. He had 2 his rookie year, and he actually, hit well in the postseason. But look, the big thing with Peraza, I think, is he has never had any sort of consistency, okay? When you look at the way he's been used, 2023, whatever, they don't really give him a lot of opportunities, and now he's getting the biggest opportunity he's had in his career. He already has more home runs. I think really the question is, with the bat, is this there and he just needs to get going, or is this not there? That's really the question we got to ask ourselves. And the only way to find out is to play him and figure it out. And they don't win the game today without him, because I'll tell you right now, I did not like the rest of where that game was going, when Devin Williams came in and all of that. So,
we can get to it right here with Apex.
Good on Peraza. He had 2 batted balls that were among the highest exit velo on the day. He actually had the highest exit velo on the day, 111.8, which is harder hit than Aaron Judge's single and Joe Adell's double and Ben Rice's home run. Oh,
poor Goldschmidt, because I know for a fact that ball was hit harder than 111. And I thought Michael K did make a pretty good point. The home plate umpire should be making that call. Why are you having a dude do a spin move, turn around, locate the baseball, and now he's got to see, okay, in comparison with the foul pole, is this fair or foul, when the home plate umpire is just staring at the play the whole time? Makes perfect sense. I have no remix to it. I thought it was brilliant. Wanted to bring it up on the show. And Apex with the super, thank you for the 2 and supporting this channel, says, someone tell K to stop asking for Devin Williams to be the closer. Now, I actually missed this. I'm not going to pretend that I saw it. I don't remember that ever being mentioned.
Yeah,
by anybody.
I didn't hear it either. Not saying that it didn't happen, but I didn't hear it.
Because I would assume anybody who wants Devin Williams to be the closer, it's more about the concept of being able to use Weaver more consistently in the middle of the game when you feel like this is the biggest spot of the game. And the biggest spot of the game is not always the 9th inning. We've learned pitchers are now used more creatively. If I have my best arm in the bullpen, he can go multi-inning, and all of a sudden the top of the lineup's coming up with traffic on the base pass in the 8th inning, let's just say, you're going to want to use your best arm. Well, that maybe makes you feel like, let's go put somebody else in the 9th inning that we still trust to get the job done. But that's the catch there, Jake.
Yeah.
Do I trust Devin Williams to close games? I do not. That's nothing personal. This is a job. If you don't do the job where I can feel confident, and by the way, for those of you wondering, Jake texts me before every outing where he just feels something. He doesn't feel as confident about what's happening. And mind you, my feed actually cut out just before the beginning of the 9th inning. And I have no idea what happened, and not surprising given
Drop the ball.
MLB's app. But having said that, Jake texts me and says, I don't feel very good about this. I do not like this.
Nope.
And mind you, we're talking about a 3-run lead. Nobody feels confident with Devin Williams. And by the way, before we get to this next super chat, I don't feel confident with him outside of really pitching the 7th or 8th inning. The 7th or 8th inning tees up a huge spot in the game, which more than likely is going to be the 9th inning for us. I don't want Devin Williams in the 9th. I know why he pitched tonight. I get it. Weaver couldn't throw. And if we had thrown somebody else, everyone would say, maybe not our channel and our audience, But most of Yankees Twitter and Yankees, I guess our Yankees fan base would say, isn't the guy that was supposed to be your closer, wouldn't he have been perfect today? And then Boone would have been answering for that. So Jake, what did you feel when Devin Williams came out there for the ninth? Because obviously you saw something.
I was nervous because this was his first appearance, like I brought up to you. First appearance, in a closer role in quite some time. And I felt like, okay, he's pitching well. I get where Boone's coming from, but I just feel like he's out of that role right now. Like that mentally, he was not ready for that. You could just tell. He gives up the home run. I didn't even think it was the worst pitch in the world, but he does give up the home run.
Do you think it's like his demeanor? Because you're saying it didn't seem like he was ready for that, which is fine. Like, I understand. You need to see confidence projected on the field. If you see somebody and their shoulders are down in the ninth inning,
yeah,
you basically get thrown off of the fact this guy's not ready for this moment. What did you see? Because obviously, like I said before, I was looking at a black screen and I had to go look at the highlights essentially of the ninth inning. So yeah, what'd you see?
Well, I think a big thing, especially in this game, like this is a really good example. Clark Schmidt would not have won today's game. This umpire was calling things all over the place. He was not good, okay? And Rodon in the past would have melted down and told him to, screw off or whatever. Rodon stayed calm, cool, collected, was able to hit his spots, found a way to get the ball in the strike zone when it was, where is the strike zone, right? He's throwing pitches in the strike zone. They're calling him balls. He's throwing pitches outside. He's still getting called balls. So Devin Williams, I felt like he was just not the pitcher to bring in because the way the umpire was calling today, you're not getting, even though it's a great pitch, fantastic pitch. Like, he threw one of the best changeups I've ever seen tonight. So I didn't think it's not like he didn't have his stuff, but I think he got he got freaked out by the way they were calling it. And his fastballs, he was not locating them super well. The changeup was not the issue. The airbender looked like the airbender. But when you're not getting that right on the line call, you see K-zone, it's right where you want it, perfect. You almost can't even swing at it because it's so perfectly placed, you're not even going to hit it. He wasn't getting those. So now, this is a guy we've talked about where all of a sudden a base runner shows up and he starts to struggle. Now, ironically, he has the home run, so there's no base runner. But now he's giving up a run. Now there's blood. Essentially, he's given up the first blood of the game. And for them,
well, that's not a very good feeling.
No. And at that point, I feel like he was just, you say it, you were saying about Rodon all last year. He was drowning in a glass of water. That's what I felt like with him. And even when he was throwing good pitches, he's not getting the calls. So I'm not trying to excuse him because I told you, I was like, I don't like this. He wasn't great tonight. But there were times where you're like, man, that's right there. That's right on the, you punched out Judge on that call. You punched out, you know what I mean? So all I'll ask is just, to have more consistency there. But when it comes to Devin Williams, the biggest need for the Yankees right now is to get Fernando Cruz back, because you don't want to be in this situation ever again where Devin Williams has to close the game because Luke Weaver's been used and Fernando Cruz is out. And so, yeah, I think and that's also, it kind of goes along the lines of why the whole Boone using him 5 out of the 7 games, which was insane. That was a bigger issue because I feel like this has kind of reared its ugly head, but the Yankees are such a good team right now. It's not costing them games, but it's going to. So I can't wait till Cruz comes back because, yeah, I hope Boone learned. You can't manage, you cannot manage your closer like that. So that's why they were in the position tonight.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Boone sees the situation. Like I said yesterday, we're in a spot, I really want to go win this game, right? And we're playing the Angels. We've got a big series after this. And most people, especially in our chat, they always say, well, you can't look ahead, especially into the next series. And I'm not here to say that that's exactly what Boone's doing, but there really wasn't a reason to use Weaver. There just wasn't a purpose behind it. So having said that, I want to get to this super from Rich. Thank you for the 10. Says, guys, I think we have seen enough. Williams needs to be traded before or at the deadline. Essentially, it seems like he's trying to say, like, our team needs to get better, and then waiting until letting him go at the end of the year for nothing. Thoughts? So essentially, Rich wants to trade this player before he just walks. Devin Williams is in a walk year, and if things continue, it seems like he's going to prove, I can pitch in the 7th or 8th inning. I can do that. I can do that well. I've done it consistently over the last few weeks. But what I can't do is be a closer for you. He's showing, especially given right now, Aaron Boone is not going to be using him by the end of the year in the 9th inning. It's just not going to happen. We saw this last year. We saw an adjustment. There was a rubber band effect to that. We're going to see that same rubber band effect. When Cruz is healthy, I think he's the guy that they're going to use in the 9th inning. I just do. The problem with that, Jake, Cruz does not throw a lot of strikes. What do you not want to see in the 9th inning? A guy who can't find the strike zone. So I love, Fernando Cruz and the job he's doing more than anybody. But I think really what this is, and Rich, I don't want to say the Yankees need to cash in Devin Williams for anything because we can spend a lot of money. So my mentality on this, Devin Williams is just going to be great. It's just not going to be at the end of games like we were sold. He's going to be great in the 7th or 8th inning, probably the 7th because their guy's going to be Cruz. And after that, the Yankees need to figure out who else can we trust. And that guy may be outside of the organization. Now, we don't want to be nitpicky because we're winning a lot of games. We've won 8 series in a row. We're finding ways. We're now 6.5, 7 games up. I think it's 6.5 up in first place.
7 now. Tampa
7
lost.
games up in first place. So we don't have a ton to complain about. But what we know is once the regular season's over, and let's say we win the AL East, which most people expect us to, having said all this, you look up and say, oh, we're all even again. How comfortable do you feel in the 8th inning or the 9th inning if Weaver can't pitch? He just pitched yesterday. How confident are you? Well, the Yankees feel like Devin Williams is definitely not an answer. So, yeah, Rich, I'm not freaking out about getting value per se for some of these players, but what I will say, the Yankees do need another name they can put in the hat they trust, and it's very difficult to say I trust 2 different guys to close, but we've seen the Yankees' history. They have had 2 guys before they could trust. And Mark, again, thank you for the 10. So I just want to say my predictions were basically correct. Rodon, 100-plus pitches, and almost a complete game. Oh, he did say that. He absolutely did say that. It's a great call right there. And it says, and a score was still 3-0. I don't acknowledge Devin's earned run and outings as Yankees innings. So obviously, we don't have a ton of fans of Devin Williams. This is not a fan club for Devin Williams. It's about the output.
I like him, but I get it.
He's not doing the job. He's losing himself a lot of money. Let's just put it like that. When you're trying to sell yourself as a closer, and that's certainly what he's going to tell people, he'll probably be someone else's closer next year, and that's perfectly fine. But he's not going to get what he thought he was going to get. He's not proving what he thought he was going to prove. Well, he seems like a setup man.
That's why I wouldn't trade him because the goal that the Yankees have. I mean, I think he helps their bullpen. Just keep him out of the 9th. But Rich, I actually see what he's talking about because essentially, if he doesn't have a good season, right? Or even if he has a great season, let's just say he has a great season as the 8th guy. So he's the eighth inning guy. He's a setup man. He's not coming back to the Yankees to be the setup man. He's just not. He'll go sign somewhere else and be a closer because he is not going to look at it like, oh, this is where my career's at. No, he's going to look at it like, oh, I guess it just didn't work in the Bronx. Like, I figured it out and I made the most of what was given to me. But when I lost that closer job, I wasn't going to quit on me being a closer. I was just understanding of, okay, that's just the way it is this year. I'm going to move on and do. So I get that. Like, you want to get value for him because, to be honest with you, if he pitches well and he takes over as the closer at some point and looks insane, there's going to be a conversation to bring him back. But I don't feel like the Yankees, even if they will want him if he pitches well as an 8th inning guy. They will want him, but I don't even think he'll entertain coming back to the Yankees when he knows he's a closer.
Well, first of all, I don't care how he pitches. Now, mind you, I do expect at some point we're going to see Weaver. We're going to see, not Weaver, we're going to see Williams again in the 9th inning. Probably circumstantial due to who else is not available. But at some point, he could pitch like the Devin Williams of last year, the Devin Williams with Milwaukee, the Devin Williams before that Alonso at bat. I still don't give him the job. Just because you get the job done doesn't mean you're better than Weaver. So I don't care what he does.
I'm not giving him the job, but I'm just saying I get his point because I don't think he's going to come back regardless. Like if he's too good as the 8th guy, he's going to want to close, and the Yankees are like, we got Weaver. So,
but do we necessarily need value? If you really think about it, Devin Williams could essentially lose the closer's role, right? In which he's already done. He's only closing today because Weaver is our closer. And that was a little silly for us to do what we did, and we've learned from it at least quickly. Right? We got out of it very quickly. Now that Weaver's your closer, regardless of what Devin Williams does, all that matters about Devin Williams is what he does for us getting it out. Do you remember what Leiter Jr. did in the postseason? All of us were looking at it saying, well, what do we need this guy for? Like, this isn't, he's got great splits against lefties, but he doesn't really get righties out. This splitter's somewhat of a project. He's got control issues.
Then the World Series, he randomly started pitching.
All of a sudden, you get into the World Series, you're able to toss him the ball. We're all like, Leiter Jr.'s in there. And then he was really good. So am I expecting to rely on Devin Williams? No. But do I need value for Devin Williams? What type of value do you think you're getting? Hey, we've got this closer. Oh, wait, hold on a second. He cannot close, but he can pitch really, really good for you in the 7th or 8th inning. Doesn't that remind you of somebody? Oh, that's right. It's Clay Holmes. Clay Holmes, and I remember your father, specifically, Jake, mentioning, check out these numbers of Clay Holmes. I'm like, what numbers? He's terrible in the 9th inning. He's horrible. I watch it every day. And he said, no, take a look at what he does in the 7th inning. The 7th inning. And sure enough, it's exactly how the Yankees deployed him for the rest of the year. There was value in how he was being used.
My dad's from the future.
Your dad's from the future. So I guess I do see in the chat, I really like what I'm seeing, is that Johnny Lowe you may be able to take a flyer. This is a tryout. What happens if Weaver can't pitch? Sometimes you use him a ton. You need to use somebody else. Someone else needs to be able to, you need to trust them with guys on base. You can't walk anybody. You need to put this game away. Who's that other guy? We're going to figure that out, and that's part of Aaron Boone's job. So I'm interested to figure it out.
Hedrick should have pitched today, by the way.
Yeah, his numbers have been really good. So.
You don't trust. You just told us that you don't trust Hill. You don't trust Hamilton. None of the fans trust either of those guys right now. Johnny Lowe, you just used, so you were going to bring him in to get a hold. He wasn't going to pitch 2 innings. You just used him. And then you had, what's his name? De Los Santos. You had Yuri De Los Santos, who was warming up. And to be fair, because I want to be fair here, Devin Williams got out of this because Logan O'Hoppe had one of the worst decisions I've ever seen at the plate.
I totally missed it.
They give you a green light 3-0 in a game where you have 2 guys on base and you're down 3-2 and you're the last guy. You are not swinging at a ball that is above the strike zone. What are, like a green light is, oh yeah, it was right down the plate. Like then you drop, you put the green light on, but when they give you the green light, it's not like, oh, I'm just swinging at whatever comes my way. No, that's not how that works.
Can you name me, what was the player's name again who swung 3-0?
Logan O'Hoppe.
Let me ask you guys a question. So obviously, I'm not going to try and explain this like you guys are dumb. We've got a very smart audience. Does anyone's parents, do they know the name Logan O'Hoppe? Does anyone's household know Logan O'Hoppe?
I mean, he's a good player, but actually, he's a pretty damn good player. He was just.
Does anybody's parents know who that is? Is it a household name?
I don't know about that one.
then you don't swing 3-0 unless the pitch is right down the middle.
Oh yeah, no, you don't. Like, I mean, I still can't even believe that at bat. I texted you immediately. I was like, well, you're like, good win. I was like, yeah, because I was behind you when you said that. I didn't know, and when you said that, I was like, wait, it's 3-0.
Well, I mean, consider this, Jake. It's not about are you good at baseball or are you buns. It's not that. I'm not trying to make Logan O'Hoppe seem like he's a bad baseball player, but I'm just going to go through our lineup. I'm very pleased, actually, with the depth of what we're doing. You look at our ops, up and down our lineup, you see a lot of 800s, but let me tell you something. Paul Goldschmidt is historically great, like Hall of Fame-like against left-handed pitching. When he's got a 3-0 count, he gets the green light and can have the audacity to swing at a pitch that's not right down the middle. Aaron Judge is a player. The Fernando Tatis Jr.'s, right? The Jackson Merrills, the Freddie Freemans, the Otanis. Those are the dudes who actually should have the nerve to swing at pitches that are not down the middle 3-0. So that's the concept. When you do all of that to actually earn the advantage, because that's all baseball is. So you ball one, okay, the hitters earn an advantage. 2-0, okay, great, an even bigger advantage, and you work the count to 3-0, and Logan O'Hoppe is given the green light, and he swings at a pitch that's not opportunistic at all, well, then you shouldn't be trusted with the leash to swing 3-0. If I'm the coach, if I'm the manager, I'm looking over and say, hey, never again. Never. Because you've got to blame. I do see it. Pedro, I completely agree. I also blame the coaching. It's really unfortunate. And it kind of goes to show you, by the way,
that's desperate coaching. That's desperate. Yeah.
It shows you how important it is to have smart people around you because they can protect you from yourself. He probably ends up in a better position if he was just told to do less. So, yeah, and Apex says keep Devin. I'm assuming he's talking about Devin Williams away from Freeman and Ohtani. Yeah, I mean, if we're seeing Freeman and Ohtani, we pretty much only want our starting rotation, Jake, and Weaver and Cruz. And outside of that, I mean, I don't know. You might be able to sneak Leiter Jr. and Johnny Lowe in there, but I mean, not an advantage in any way.
No, and I'm going to bring this up on the on the screen. I have no voice tonight. I don't know why. It's really irritating, if you can't tell.
That's nice with a podcast.
Yeah, I know, right? Good God. Okay, so you see right here, this is what he swung at.
On
now.
Like this video.
Oh man. I didn't know it was
going to be
one of those moments.
You only swing at that pitch 3-0 if you're Vladimir Guerrero Sr. That's the only person in the history of ball. Maybe Ichiro Suzuki can swing at that.
Also, I don't care what anyone says. When he threw that, it was up here. That was not a strike. Like, that was up here. And he still swung. And that's one of the wildest. Because you see these, they're just missing, right? So he's probably just going to miss. Like, he couldn't find the strike zone with his fastball. And
you know what he'd probably tell us? Do you see the boxes? You see how they're red, the top of the zone? He'd probably tell us, that's where I like it. Yeah. I don't care. You're Logan O'Hoppe. You swing at that. You see that red box in the middle? That's the box that you should be swinging at.
Look at that exit velocity. Look at blistering 71.6. I cannot believe for the life of me. When this happened, I was like, what are we doing? Like, I'm going to take the win, but good Lord. Yeah. So, speaking of wins, we won a lot today with Profit X. I wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, we didn't have ourselves a bad day. I want to talk about Carlos Rodon because, of course, how this season started. I mean, if you really think about it, a lot of us were talking about our investment in this person. What does it look like? Is it good for the Yankees? Is this something you can trust? You lose Garrett Cole. Max Fried is the perceived ace of the team. And yet, we didn't really know, is Max Fried going to be able to stay on the field? Or is he going to be able to be trusted with this new role? And yeah, He's absolutely been like trustworthy at this point. But as far as Carlos Rodon, what was the perception of this player? He's got really good stuff. I think a lot of people describe him as a 2-pitch pitcher. He's really a fastball slider guy. If there's any wrinkle to his outing, he pretty much just flips the lid. It's very Jersey Shore. He's just losing his mind out there. And you just got to hold your breath that he keeps it together. What's he been this year? He had a couple rough starts at the beginning of the season, some ups and downs, but 2 or 3 starts into the season, it's been go time since then. Rodon, and I want to bring up an at-bat that stuck out to me because what it shows me is that Rodon's no longer worried about poor me. I can't believe what just happened. He's thinking about what's next. And there was an at-bat with Joe Adell in the bottom of the second, and I watched a 1-1 pitch where he snapped off one of the nastiest sliders he threw all night. The entire outing, I saw every pitch. Joe Adell didn't even flinch at this. Not a flinch. So Rodon, more times than not, what would he do in that situation? He'd think, oh, I really need to force another slider because how does he not swing at that? It was a great pitch, and he would tell us that was his mentality after games, and it would drive me insane. What does he do in this situation? He paints a fastball at the bottom of the zone, and most people are thinking, okay, he might think about going back to that fastball given what he's just thrown. No, Joe Adell essentially was making him throw the ball up. Keep the ball up. Everything down is going to end up in the dirt. So what does Rodon do? I'm going to do this dance with you. I'm going to prove to you this pitch at your knees is a strike. What happens after that? Slider in the dirt. I'll see you later. That's how you pitch, and that's how you prove to hitters that you're not going to come in here and dictate what happens. I'm going to read your swing. I'm going to read your takes, and I'm going to make adjustments off of that. So loved what Rodon's doing, and I think it's proving he's a lot smarter than what people thought he was.
Yeah, no, Rodon looks incredible. I would venture to guess that the Yankees right now, if they don't have the best duo of starting pitching in the league, it's top 3. He and Max Fried. And the thing that's crazy is Max Fried can be your guy. You know he's gonna just he might not get you the tons of strikeouts, and he still gets you enough, but he's going to be consistent. He's always going to show up his worst. He's still going to only give up 1 to 2 runs. Rodon is your power pitcher. It's like the two play off each other. It's like a pass rusher. You have a speed rusher and a power rusher. They can play off each other. I feel like, obviously they're not on the field at the same time, but these two in the rotation are playing off each other, especially, when they get a chance to go back to back, which we won't get to see until probably the All-Star break when they fix the rotation up. But when they get to go back to back and you have them in a series, see, that's another thing I wanted to bring up, Gary. People don't talk about that. They just don't. The Yankees have not been able to run their normal rotation. And when you're winning series, 8 series in a row, and they haven't been able to run their normal rotation, that's impressive to me. Because these guys do essentially play off each other. There is a strategy there. Yarbrough pitched yesterday, and he was great. But typically speaking, if Rodon's going the next day, Fried should have been on the mound yesterday. So, of course, this is how it goes. Things get all kind of wonky. But after the All-Star break, they'll have the rotation the way they want it. And that's when it's going to be really tough, Gary, when you can just go Fried, Rodon, and then who's your third? Is it Warren? Is it Schmidt? Is it Yarbrough? Is it Heel down the road? Who knows? But you can have those guys back to back. It puts a ton of pressure on a team if they're trying to win a series. Now you're already down 1-0 against Fried, and then you have to go to the yard and go up against Rodon, who's a power pitcher. So, yeah, I'm excited for that dynamic, and I think that's what makes it the most impressive for me, in that they've won 8 straight series, and like I said, that they've had guys pitching sporadically. They're all over the place.
Yeah, and I guess I don't want it to make it seem like injuries aren't just a part of the game, because really, whose starting rotation is good to go? if you really think about this, you look at the Dodgers, you look at the Padres, right? I
Well, the Dodgers have an entire rotation on the IL.
the Dodgers don't even have a rotation right now. And the ace of the San Diego Padres in Michael King slept on his arm wrong, and he's missing starts. Guys, he's missing starts over this. Slept on his shoulder wrong. So
I did that before.
this type of stuff happens all across baseball, but what are you going to do about it? Are you going to make adjustments? Are you going to make trades, right? Are guys built to step up? The Yankees made a decision, and Ryan Yarbrough, when they brought him here, they said, hold on a second. Yeah, you might be able to flex him out into the bullpen, but in the meantime, with Heel gone, he's gone for a few months and longer than I think a lot of us were expecting. Garrett Cole's out for the season. Ryan Yarbrough, we do trust him to be built up to 60 pitches. We trust him to build up to 90 to 95 pitches. What did they do? Did they just tell us that? Was it fluff? No. They actually put him out on the mound, and he's doing it. And he's actually preventing runs while doing that. So there's a ton of value there in what the Yankees are doing. They're landing on their feet. And Rich Squires with the super, which has to do with Yarbrough, says, and thank you so much, Rich, for the 5 and supporting this channel, says, you want someone you can trust in innings 7 and 8 instead of Devin Williams, Yarbrough, once we get Heel back. So I appreciate that the wheels are turning, and we're trying to think about what the roles are going to be for some of these players, because certainly the roles, especially when guys are healthy, now it's a matter of choice. Who do you want where? And as far as I'm concerned, I really like what Yarbrough's doing in the rotation, because he tends to really massage his way into starts and feel his way through. He's not really going to miss bats in a spot, in a crunch, out the bullpen. Balls are going to be put in play. In his last start, he does end up accumulating about a strikeout an inning, which is really good, but he really makes adjustments to get those strikeouts. He's not blowing anybody away. And, as Jack Curry likes to put it, you like to miss some bats in the bullpen. He's not going to help me do that. So I like what Yarbrough is doing in the rotation. I think there's a ton of value in the regular season for what he's doing. You let him ride out and do all of that while you can get it. And then when you get to October, you sort of flex him out of the rotation. I think there's a ton of value to do that.
Yeah, I do too. I actually think, Gary, as you get closer to the playoffs, if Heel is not revved up, I think he only can be a bullpen pitcher. And I think we're going to have that discussion, because obviously for the future, no. But it's different. And you know how we talk about getting creative and sometimes you have to make the tough decision? Well, if Luis Seal's not going to come back until August, and that's what it sounds like, right? What's the rev up process? So think about this, right? He's going to get 4 starts max in August if he's a starter. Max. Probably like 2 or 3.
He's probably getting 3. Yeah.
And if he gets 3, all of those are going to be, with a pitch count. Like, he's not going to be able to go over 80 pitches.
Yeah, it's probably going to be 60.
60. So then September comes. Does he do they let him go? Is he going to? So my point being is, you go back and you look at last year, and we said this, and this is why I didn't want to sign him until later on in the year, when he proved obviously he was revved up and he was still really good. Bring him up all the time. And, and I'm talking about Blake Snell. Blake Snell did not get to have that rev up process, which is my biggest issue with this unlimitedly long off season. I don't even think that's a word, but like this off season, like the free agency that never ends, they need to figure this out, because having like top players, like we saw with Carlos Correa, we saw with Blake Snell, we saw with Bregman, these guys aren't able to get ready to actually do the job that you're trying to pay them to do.
Have you ever seen a key contributor show up in August and then just be great in October and like really fill in the gap? I don't hardly ever see it. Ever. I don't see it. So you have to remember what the Yankees are going to be asking him to do. Now, if we had a mic in front of Boone's face and said, hey, what do you plan on for Heel? And he had to be honest with us. Is he going to tell us, yeah, Luis Heel, that guy that he's the rookie of the year, we think he can start game 2 of the division series. So you're going to ask a player, regardless if they're young or not, irrelevant. He hasn't touched a baseball all year. He was banged up his rookie year, right? Towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
He shows up. You don't trust him in October. I thought that decision somewhat made sense. I got it. I understand it. But then you kind of kick it off into the next year. He's hurt again. Well, you're going to give him essentially 6 weeks to rev up, and you're going to trust him in a big game. Here's what I see. This is just my opinion. I could be completely off. I'm just a podcaster. I'm not, this isn't the Corinthians. I'm not the Bible. Luis Gil is probably not going to be handed the keys in October. That's just my prediction. I do not see a world where you don't give someone adamant time to work on something. You don't tell someone they've got an end of the year project, right? Some final, and you tell them, oh, by the way, it's due next weekend. No, you tell them in the middle of the year or the beginning of the year. That's how this works. So due to injury, it's a lot to ask of Luis Gil to be ready and performing, which is the whole point you're bringing up, which leads me to believe the Yankees do have some guys in the rotation that can be highly serviceable and really get you by for a division win. But do you trust those names in October when you see the other team's best lineups? You see the best teams in baseball. Do you trust some of these names, right? Some of those names are Will Warren. Like, that's one of the names I probably have a little higher up my list, given what he's doing. But you look at the other part of the rotation in Luis Gil, do I trust him in a big game? It feels reminiscent of the Luis Severino situation, where it's like he's banged up, he's in the trainer's room, he's back, he's out, he's back, he's in a big game, and next thing you know, it's like he gives up 5 in the first, and they're like, he'll be fine, we'll see him next year. This isn't the end, this isn't it. I don't want us to have such high expectations for players who are in the trainer's room half the year. So, yeah, Apex, thank you for the 2 and always supporting this channel.
Yeah.
Says, honestly, I would keep Will Warren over Schmidt, age, and health. The key there is health, Jake. And we've talked about health. How often do you stay around the field? Because when you're not healthy, more times than not, you just don't see major impact in October from players that fought to be on the field all year. It just doesn't tend to work out that way. So, yeah, I don't blame you at all if you have a lot of faith in Will Warren. But what it tells me, by the way, and I want to kick it to you, because you've talked about some trades the Yankees could be making in this rotation, like Peralta was one of those guys that you've talked about. The reason for that is because of the ceiling. You can trust them in a big game. Maybe the Yankees use some of these names that they have in the rotation as depth pieces to get them through, but perhaps they need to be more aggressive in finding high output guys for them.
Well, it's weird when I watch Will Warren pitch. So, like, Yarbrough replaced Cortez. I said this, and I know it sounds crazy, but Cortez was in a 1-year deal. He was gone. They were not bringing him back after this year, even if he pitched this year. And Yarbrough, I don't think is going to be brought back. I just don't. He's going to go and get paid, like you said. I don't see him coming back. So, he's filling that kind of mercenary role. Will Warren feels like the replacement for Clark Schmidt. There are a lot of similarities between the two, but Will Warren, he's missing bats. He's staying healthy. That's the thing. Clark Schmidt, he's 29 now. Because of all these injuries and everything, we still think that he's this young pitcher, and 29 is, younger. But he's not like 24, 25 years old, And so,
Not going to lie, I did think he was younger.
Yeah, of course. So, yeah. I mean, he's older than Trent Grisham.
Yeah, and I think all of us thought Trent Grisham was 33.
Yeah. Yarbrough is 33, by the way. I thought he was 30. So it is what it is. It's not like it matters.
He looks 33.
You know what's so funny? It's like the idea of like, oh, yeah, he's 33 now. Not like it matters. It's like now all of a sudden he can't pitch because we found out he's 33. Like he just gets destroyed. Like, it's like, oh, Jake, you did it. You gave away his secret. Yeah, so I think kind of like wrapping it up into a bow before we get into the Prophet X picks. Really, I agree. I hate saying it. I feel like I'm going back on my word here. I love Schmidt. Schmidt's health is my biggest concern. And once again, this year, he had issues. And I think those issues are still plaguing him, Gary. He doesn't look like the Clark Schmidt of last year. And to be fair, when you look at the data, he has only 1 year where he's had that type of year, and it was last year. And he hasn't really pitched a ton of innings. So,
Ever.
That's the thing. Like, if they had to trading him for like a Peralta and like they throw in international pool money and give out a prospect, like, will not be shocked at all. And Yankee fans shouldn't be upset. I know he's homegrown. I get that, narrative and everything, and I like him. But Peralta, imagine this 1-2-3 punch. 1-2-3. You start off a series in the postseason. Fried, Rodon, Peralta. Like, are you kidding me? And
rotations shorten. That's the bottom line is your rotation is going to shorten. And I already know the perception is going to be, well, everything's working. We throw Will Warren out there. He gives us quality starts. He's been good for now a while. This is like 4 starts in a row. He's been good, right? He's missing bats. He's preventing runs. But, again, the question is, of those names who have been objectively good, how many Yankees starters would you say, I want him on the mound in a postseason game? And we're not talking about like an ALDS, teams up 2-0 in the series. No, we're talking at some point or another in any winning postseason run, your backs are going to be against the wall. Your team's down 2-1 in a series. It's 2-2 in a series, and it's tight. You need impact from an arm. There's a difference between impact in the regular season, which is great. There's a ton of value. Dudes get very rich for pitching well in the regular season. But again, there's a huge difference between tossing somebody the ball in July versus tossing the ball in October. So I think these are great problems to have, because there were a lot of us, and myself included, that really felt like the floor might be a little lower than I'd like it to be coming into this season. But due to some young players stepping up, Will Warren being one of those guys, and this is without the presence at all of Luis Gil. I didn't expect his departure in any way. No Garrett Cole. I was expecting this to be a dogfight, and so far, so good with a lot of these young players. And I want some more guys to step up, in particular in the infield and not so much on the mound. So my focus right now for the Yankees is, what's the decision-making going to be around the deadline? Are they going to say, well, these guys are good enough? These guys are giving us good enough in the regular season? Because I'm going to finish with this, Jake. Brian Cashman has shown, and he did that with Jordan Montgomery. It's a point that you've brought up before. He said he's been good for us in the regular season. We don't want him in October. You may get guys out in your 30-plus starts, and there's a ton of value in that. But there's a difference between us asking you to do that now versus doing it in the future in October. So I'm interested to see the message that Brian Cashman sells us, because he told us pitching, and yet our pitching has been very good. So I'm interested to see what happens.
No, I'm definitely interested to see what happens. I do want to, real quick, just give Clark Schmidt his credit. He finishes May with a 3.97 ERA, so he is pointing in the right direction from 5.52 in April on the 3 starts. But again, if it was an odd man out situation right now and I had to choose one, I'd probably go with Will Warren right now. He's younger, he's more efficient right now. His strikeouts are insane, by the way. I'm not a strikeout guy. I'm not like a strikeout end-all be-all, but when you look at his K per 9 and he's sitting there with a 11.9. I mean, Rodon is 11.1. So I don't think people realize what he's doing right now. They're like, yeah, well, this Will Warren kid's good. No. Will Warren has pitched 50 and 2/3 innings compared to Max Fried's 70, and they have the same amount of strikeouts at 67. Like, he misses bats. He just does. So wanted to throw that little bit out there. Also, shout out to Ben Rice for hitting a home run off a lefty. I was told he can't do that. I feel like I've said that now multiple times this year. So maybe he actually can hit against lefties. But let's move over to Prophet X, and I'm going to ask you real quick, Gary. Will Ben Rice be in the lineup tomorrow against Kikuchi, who is a lefty?
Well, funny enough, one of our one of our loyal followers here at Yankees Unloaded, Dave M, sent me a DM, says, certainly we're not going to see Ben Rice tomorrow, given what he's done today in hitting a home run off a lefty. And obviously he's joking, but he's partially serious that it doesn't feel like you can really earn your way out onto the field. But again, I always try and remind people, like, we can't really care too much about these decisions because the Yankees are finding ways to win. If we were in a situation where we were battling it and we couldn't get any winning streaks together, we hadn't won 8 series in a row. But, maybe you can complain that Ben Rice won't be on the field, but I'm not going to spend too much time complaining because the guy who's usually in the spot where I would like to see Ben Rice in, that guy's also producing. So, do I expect to see Ben Rice tomorrow? I'm gonna guess and venture no. That's my prediction. But like I've told you before, I don't usually plan on seeing Jason Dominguez with high velocity left-handers, and I think
Kikuchi throws harder than Tyler Anderson.
He throws gas. I mean, the dude's throwing 98.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see these decisions tomorrow. It doesn't feel like there's any rhyme or reason because sometimes we do see Jason Dominguez from the right side in a starter's position, given his weakness there. So, no, my gut tells me Ben Rice won't play tomorrow, but I hope he does, given what's happened today.
I like that. Yeah, I don't think he's going to play tomorrow. I think they get Jason Dominguez in there. I don't necessarily agree with it, but
I like this right here. I like the idea of tomorrow, and this doesn't have to be long-term. And the promised one on PS5, glad he got his new system in place. Play Ben Rice over Trent Grisham, because Trent Grisham he's having a little bit of a dry spell. Certainly he'll rubber band back to the means, but I agree. Ben Rice should play.
871 OPS right now. Walked twice today, which is good, but you'd like to see him driving the ball a little bit more than what he was doing before. So, anyway, let's do a quick recap. Those of you who missed it, we got the Knicks wrong.
Sorry, guys.
But we got everything else right. So it was a really good day at the office, Gary. We got the Yankees money line. We got the under 5.5. We slayed that under. That was not even close. Carlos Rodon over 7.5 strikeouts.
Killed that.
Tyler Anderson, I was a little worried when the Yankees struck out twice in that one inning. I was like, you can't be serious. This guy does not strike people out. Paul Goldschmidt should have had this probably 3 times over. He got ripped off on the diving catch to start the game. But yeah, we're on a streak right now, Gary. I mean, we've had a lot of them that we've hit on recently after starting off really poorly. But now we are going to try to continue that streak heading over to tomorrow's game. So Kikuchi's
got a new name here, by the way. Mark Fisher
Mark
with the
Fisher.
super with the
Thank you
2.
for the
Mark,
super.
welcome in. Definitely seems like a name I do not recognize. Maybe I've seen you in the chat before, but says with the 2, showing love from the Midwest. Go Yanks. God, we got
Appreciate
Yankees
you,
fans
Mark.
everywhere. We literally had somebody from Brazil 2 days ago, so it's pretty cool.
They are actually America's team, unlike the Cowboys. Like, literally, the Yankees. You could hear "Let's Go Yankees" at the Colorado game. Like, they just completely took over the Colorado, Coors Field. The Angels game today. Dude, I don't know what's going on. Like, if I go, to run over, my kitchen's not far away from my TV. If I go and, real quick, clean up something, come back, I hear booing, and I'm like, oh, did the Yankees do something good? And it's like, no, the Yankees struck out, and it's like the Yankees fans have taken over Angels Stadium. And it's like, it's wild, but...
Brother, I was in Rome on my honeymoon, and I saw a Yankees fan I literally saw a Yankees fan just walking the streets of Rome, and I looked at the dude, I was like, go Yanks, and then I feel like he was just wearing the Yankees hat because it matched everything, and he looked at me like, we don't do that. I don't know who you are, I don't know what you're doing.
Oh, man, that's
But
so
there's
sad.
Yankees fans technically everywhere. I'll just assume he was a Yankees fan, I guess. But, yeah, we are America's team, no doubt.
Oh, Mark's from Indiana. Sorry, Knicks fans. That was a rug pull and a half. That was a plot twist. All right. So Kikuchi, I mean, might as well just give his stats real quick. Against the Yankees, he's 5-4 career, 3.38 ERA. So where do we go here? Because Yankees against lefties, don't love it. And tomorrow you got Clark Schmidt on the mound, and he's been working his way back, but he still hasn't looked like Clark Schmidt. I'm still going to go with the under here, the first 5 innings. I'm going to go with the under 5.5 again. That I think that has just been like the sweet spot. So we broke the game.
What's Clark's K's at in this game, by the way?
Oh,
Because it should
that's
be
an
set
interesting
low,
one.
despite the Angels striking out a ton.
5.5. I'm going to take that.
Okay, I'm taking it. The Angels just strike out a ton.
I'm going to take both.
They just do. Yeah, I do think, obviously, my guess, Paul Goldschmidt, he's historically great against left-handed pitching. I'm expecting him to wreak havoc tomorrow again. Any left-handed arm is advantage Goldschmidt. You just make the assumption that Aaron Judge will find a way. Just great players do. Cody Bellinger's got reverse splits against lefties. But what about the rest of the guys? There's definitely a case that Jason Dominguez may find his way out onto the field. He struggles against lefties, right? Ben Rice may be put into a situation. He hit a home run today. They may put him back in the lineup. It's not his strongest side to hit on. Like, just because he hit a home run today doesn't mean it's best case tomorrow. So I think there's definitely a case. This is low scoring going through the 4th or 5th, and the Yankees find a way to the point of you, Jake. This Angels bullpen stinks. The Yankees pull away towards the middle of the game.
I hate their bullpen. They brought in a guy with a 13 ERA.
Good grief.
Yeah, remember Hector Neris?
I do remember
fans were
him,
like,
yes.
yeah, we need to go out and get this guy. He's going to turn it around. Well, that's Hector Neris. 13 ERA.
Yeah, so basically it's seeming like it lines up for a low-scoring game through the 4th or 5th inning.
Yeah.
They bring out their bullpen. It's easy pickings from there. Go finish out the series.
It feels like every series the Yankees have one game where the offense like explodes, or they have like a crazy inning or something. I think, like, obviously I know the Volpe 3-run double, like that was kind of a crazy inning, but that was just a play, right?
Did you see the expected catch on that, by the way? I don't know if you saw the number.
Oh, today?
No. The Anthony Volpe bases clearing double. Did you see what the expected catch was?
I did not. What
90%.
was it?
90.
See, that's ridiculous to me because I didn't really feel like he had a chance of catching that. Are they
I
saying
didn't
he
think
just
he
took
had
a
no
bad
chance.
route?
I'd probably give it, 40%? I mean, it was like you needed to be a really good defender to get to it, but that's not what the number said.
I have to say, okay, it is an error because, like, the dude has to catch the Bellinger one, but Bellinger also deserved a triple for hustling. That dude, I have never seen a player who will hit one into the gap and is already, like, just... Bellinger, like, he'll hit a pop-up and he's already at second.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just give him the credit. You know what I think helps him? Cody Bellinger. For those of you wondering, why is Cody Bellinger, like, he's this big 6'4", lengthy guy, he's won an MVP. Why is he so crafty and so scrappy? He feels scrappy, doesn't he? Well,
He plays like Bryce Harper on the Nationals.
Yeah, I'm going to give you your answer. Cody Bellinger was never not one time his entire baseball career up until the minor leagues. He was never this huge power hitting, this 3-hitter monster on any team he played for. He was always this player who got better and better and better, usually the smallest player on the team. And I've known him since he was in Little League. I've known him since he was a kid. He was 10, 11 years old. This dude was always the dude, the small, tiny kid, number 1 on the baseball team up in the front, right? Because I was also one of those players. Cody Bellinger just plays like that scrappy little kid, and he got to the minor leagues. Obviously, he had his growth spurt. He put on a lot of weight, and next thing you know, that style has played right with him. You throw him in right field. What's he doing, Jake? He's making leaping catches at the track. He's playing like one of those role players, but he's got the skill set of a star. So love the fact that he's on this team. And I told you guys, Cody Bellinger was going to show back up to the party, and he definitely did.
Oh, I'm happy for him. I mean, he's hitting 262 now. It wasn't that long ago. It was like 172. So this has been a huge comeback for him, and you know it's been big. But Yeah, he hits 500 with a 1100 OPS in 3 at bats against Kikuchi.
A lot of history.
Yeah, no, I think the way Bellinger's been hitting, I think he's always a fair bet. I would probably say, I mean, Paul Goldschmidt is annihilating lefties.
I said he was hitting a home run today, and he hits a ball a foot foul.
Dude, what did I send you? I thought I sent you the... maybe I didn't send it. I totally thought I sent it to you.
No prob, Dave.
I'm going to see if I can find it. The crazy lefty numbers. Did you see those, Goldschmidt?
Yeah, he's hitting like 500. It's fake.
It's
doesn't
even
baseball.
look. It's a video game. So, yeah. Let's go back to the well there. Let's go with the Goldschmidt total base again. We're just going old reliable. We're going strikeouts. We're going first 1 through 5 inning under, and we're going with Paul Goldschmidt. Yeah. What else you got?
Well,
and we're not going with the Knicks. I'm done with that. I really thought they were going to win today. I was so pissed.
I'm cool leaving those our picks. I don't think we need to force anything. Let's just leave it the way it is. I believe, though, that the Yankees, they have enough to scrap against left-handed arms. It's not just a demolition the way you saw it last year, where you saw Kikuchi. Judge really wasn't doing anything, doesn't have great career numbers against him, right? We saw Soto doing nothing against those lefties, right? We saw Rizzo going out there doing nothing against those lefties. We saw Verdugo going out there doing absolutely pissed nothing against lefties. So I think this Yankees team is scrappy enough to make this a game, and they eventually get to Kikuchi. They put his back up against the wall. The Angels have nowhere to run. Nowhere to run out their bullpen. There's no one to toss the ball to as to put any type of fire out. The Yankees are going to win tomorrow. I really believe that. I think they find a way.
Line.
Yankees money line. Go ahead and click that.
So we got 5. I'm going to throw 6. I'm feeling good about it. Peraza hit. It's going to be profitable because he's one of the lower guys on the roster. But
I love that.
He's going to play tomorrow because it's a lefty. They're not going to put B-Boss against a lefty. That's dumb.
Certainly.
So I think Peraza is going to at least build off his home run enough. Well, he had 2 balls that were hit over 100 miles an hour today. I think he's going to, against the flamethrower Kikuchi, I think he's going to get a hit tomorrow. So,
yeah, B-Boss plays it is malpractice. It makes no sense.
Yeah, well, you'll be getting a sternly worded text from me, not obviously directed at you, but if that's the case, and I like him, but it doesn't make any sense if you're going to do the lefty-righty thing. So, yeah, that's what we have for you guys. In the comments section, all right. Name the literal most random sports athlete that comes to your mind. Like the most random.
It doesn't
one.
have to be baseball. It just has to be.
It can.
Any
first
sport?
thing when you go to the comment section after this video ends, the first name that comes to your mind has to be random, not like a star, but like I want to see the most random possible names that you could think of.
Beautiful. Go ahead and drop that in the comment section, not in the live chat, because it just disappears into the ether. We're happy to have you guys in the live chat, but we won't get to read it after the fact. So when our video is done recording, hop back in the video, reload it after we're gone, drop in. Well, for me, I'd definitely drop in Tom Gugliotta. My mom used to take me to Suns games when I was little in the early 2000s. Dude was the man. So that's my random name.
Oh, I was going to say Sundiata Gaines.
And Fight Buzz TV, welcome in. Appreciate you. Yeah, I would definitely be dropping Tom Gugliotta. That's the name for me. Jake, who would you drop, by the way?
I just said Sundiata Gaines.
Who's that?
He's a basketball player, and I don't remember what team he played for. I don't remember position. It's just the first name that came to mind.
Yeah, I have no idea who that is, but there's hence random
or
names.
Latrell Sprewell.
I had his shoes with spinners on them. My mom remembers this. I had his shoes with spinners. Man, that is just... God,
man.
They wouldn't sell. I don't know. Maybe they would sell sarcastically if they re-release those. So, yeah, go ahead and drop a random athlete, any sport. We're going to be, I mean, I'm going to be reading all of them. I think it sounds like a good time.
Yeah.
Obviously, make sure you guys subscribe. If you're new here and you're not subscribed yet, hit that bell so it notifies you. And of course, like this video.
And use the code YANKSU when signing up for Profit X.
Love it.
Yeah. All right. Bye.